As it stands, in Apple's current lineup, the 9th generation iPad sits at the bottom for $330. And for that price, this is probably the best iPad for 85% of people. Here's why. What could you say about the exterior of this iPad? You could say it's old. You could say it's classic. It's similar to the formula of the iPhone SE because, like that phone, this has the older design. Thicker bezels, a single 8 megapixel camera, lightning port at the bottom, so no USB-C. This is actually the only iPad in the lineup to currently not have USB-C. The good old reliable Touch ID at the front. Heck, this thing still has a headphone jack. The build is solid. An aluminium and glass construction makes this iPad sturdy and feel well built. And there are only two rather safe colours, just the space grey and silver, but you can't really go wrong with either. But what are you getting on the front of the iPad 9? You're looking at a 10.2-inch Retina display, which is big enough for consuming content, a resolution of 1620 by 2160, and a pixel density of 264 ppi, making everything decently sharp. And honestly, this screen is not bad. Sure, the brightness is only 500 nits, so using it outdoors or in areas where there's lots of glare, it won't be ideal. And there's no promotion, it is stuck at 60Hz. But for someone who just plans on using it for watching Disney Plus, playing games, subscribing to this YouTube channel, which would be greatly appreciated, or consuming any type of media, this will be more than enough. Although the screen isn't laminated, which basically means there's a gap between the actual screen and the glass, but this is something that shouldn't affect using the iPad, nor is it something you'll notice unless you're really looking for it. Storage wise, you have the option between 64GB or 256GB. And if you want the 256 version, that's going to run you $480. For that price, you could buy an iPad 10, but you still want 256GB. Then that's going to set you back $599, which is also the same price as the iPad Air. See how Apple has walked you up to a more expensive one by how much they charge for storage? I think 64GB for an iPad would be enough for most people, but at least you've got the option for more. The good thing about buying a cheaper iPad is the headroom it gives you to buy different accessories. For example, you could buy the iPad Smart Keyboard case in case you want to have a laptop-like experience, or an Apple Pencil. But this iPad only supports the first generation Apple Pencil, so it's the one that sticks into the charging port of the iPad, and this is the same Apple Pencil that the 10th generation supports. But that iPad is USB-C, so you would have to buy an adapter in order to actually charge it. Bit strange? Generally, when it comes to battery life, iPads are most of the time very good, and the same can be said for this 9th generation iPad. It will last you several hours or up to a day depending on your use. That comes from a chip that isn't as power hungry and a display that also doesn't consume a lot of power, which all adds up to pretty solid battery life across the board. As for speakers, you get two downward firing stereo speakers and they sound good. The biggest visual difference is that the display is now flat, which is much more practical for using the S Pen without it falling off the screen and easier to apply a screen. They do the job. If you want a better listening experience, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack on board, but for the price, they aren't that bad. The front-facing camera was upgraded. The 9th gen iPad has a 12 megapixel ultra-wide front-facing camera, which allows for high-quality FaceTimes and a feature called Center Stage, which, when turned on, can keep track of you and keep you in frame. It works decently well, and it also expands depending on how many people are present, so it keeps everyone in frame. Where this budget iPad can shine is the A13 Bionic that is powering it. And this chip is still perfectly capable for light to moderate gaming. Sure, you will notice some frame drops when you really push this iPad, but I guess a person who wants to buy an iPad for intensive gaming knows they should go for a more higher end option, like an iPad Air or an iPad Pro. And yes, the M2 iPads will be able to handle way more intensive tasks, but for the price, this is solid performance. There is only 3GB of RAM, so multitasking probably won't be ideal. Expect apps to reload when jumping between them. If you're not gaming or multitasking and just want a reliable experience, this tablet provides. What the performance of this tablet enables is its longevity when it comes to software updates. So this launched with iPadOS 15 in 2021 and it's now on iPadOS 17, giving you access to a suite of new features like being able to customize your wallpaper or interact with widgets on your home screen. I think it has around 3 to 4 years of OS updates left, as typically iPads get supported for around 5 years. And if you look at older iPads like the iPad Air 2, that stopped getting OS updates in 2022. That is 8 whole years of software support, which is crazy to think about. So if you decide to buy this iPad, you're covered in the long term. So why is this the best value iPad you can buy? Well, at its price point, this iPad blows away any similarly priced Amazon or Samsung tablet in performance and the genuine reliability you get from owning an iPad, as you know you're guaranteed support in the long term. And I guess if you already have an iPhone and want to delve further into the Apple ecosystem but don't want to spend a lot, this is also a very good option. It's a very well balanced iPad, like there's no overpowering feature, and for around $250 on Amazon, this is a steal of a deal. You're getting an iPad that nails all the basics, and again, if you look at the competition in this price range, this is your winner. Thanks for watching, catch you in the next one. See you there.